to create more activities for the kingdom, activities and products, not just for the tourists, but for our own people. In closing, I would like to finish off again with a quote from Matthew chapter 7, verse 7, as it is still relevant for today. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. This is a reminder to all of us not to give up in difficult times, for if you keep asking, it will eventually be given to you. If you keep seeking, you will surely find it. If you keep knocking on the door, it will surely be open to you. So as we finish the year, don't give up asking, don't give up seeking, and don't give up knocking. I wish all of you a blessed and joyous festive season. Merry Christmas and a joyous New Year to you all. Ofatu.
Can I have another round of applause for our guest of honor? Thank you, Your Royal Highness. I'd now like to move to one of the main parts of the program, and I'd like to welcome the Honourable Minister in the Ministry of Tourism for the launch of the Tonga Tourism Crisis Impact Assessment Report.
Your Royal Highness, all protocols are observed, and I'm pleased to have this opportunity to say a few words on the launch of the Tourism Crisis Impact Assessment Report. The assessment being launched by the Ministry of Tourism was made possible by the Asian Development Bank Pacific Private Sector Development Initiative, PSDI, with the support from the World Bank, the Tonga Tourism Authority Board, Tonga Tourism Association, and 76 tourism business owners who participated in the Tourism Crisis Impact Survey in 2022. Tropical Cyclone Harold resulted in at least 50 tourism businesses facing damaged costs, causing an estimated top 16 million, USD 6.4 million in costs of damages to the tourism private sector. The Hunga Tonga Hunga Hapai event resulted in at least 70 tourism businesses facing damage costs, causing an estimated top 50 million, USD 20 million in costs of damages to the tourism private sector. Accommodation was impacted more than any other category in both events. 30 accommodation properties endured 80% of all costs of damages for Tropical Cyclone Harold. 45 accommodation properties endured 87% of all costs of damages for the Hunga Tonga Hunga Ha'apai volcanic eruption and tsunami. Owners of several destroyed accommodation and restaurants want to rebuild, pending funding and/or government approval, while several accommodation establishments are reportedly unlikely to be rebuilt for financial or personal reasons. The impact of COVID-related border closures on Tonga's tourism businesses. During international border closures, 22% of the surveyed tourism businesses continued operating. 36% of closed hibernated for the entire time, and 42% closed for some periods. For businesses that closed entirely, more than 2 years of income was lost. For those who operated continuously or intermittently, servicing the domestic market, revenues did not compensate for international tourism losses. Combined tourism revenues were down 68% in 2020, 59% in 2021 and 92% for the first half of 2022 compared to 2019. The combined crisis impacts on wider visitor economy. The loss of international direct tourism receipts in Tonga during the 28-month border closure is estimated at top 455.3 million or USD 183 million. Tourism revenue losses also extend to unmeasured indirect tourism receipts through backward linkages that have been forfeited, as well as lost government tax revenues. It is unlikely that international visitor numbers and receipts for Tonga will not return to 2019 levels for a couple of years, at least after the reopening of borders due to the supply and demand factors. A recovery scenario with conservative rebound of leisure travelers and moderate but more optimistic rebound of visiting friends and relatives and business travelers puts ongoing losses in direct international receipts from August 2022 to late 2023 at indicative top 91.5 million or 33 USD million. And this could be lower with swift and significant investment in restoring access, the supply of compelling accommodation, and destination marketing. Conservatively, it could be higher if there is no adequate investment. The implications of the crisis for firm and sector level recovery. Within the global tourism crisis recovery context, Tonga's tourism businesses face particularly challenging conditions which will delay their recovery because at least 20 tourism business, predominantly accommodation, cannot be rebuilt, repaired without financial support. Secondly, the intention of business owners to rebuild, recover, and become more resilient establishments is out of reach for many due to lack of finance, insurance, or technical know-how. Thirdly, some tourism businesses that are physically able to reopen cannot do so or cannot reopen to the same standards as before due to financial and/or staffing constraints. And then fourthly, some businesses are postponing reopening until there's more certainty about inbound demand returning at a higher level, delaying their recovery. From the report, several recommendations are being proposed as priorities for Tonga's tourism sector. The recommended priorities for recovering from the crisis impacts on Tonga's tourism industry and enabling sector growth in line with the Kingdom's vision are firstly, to restore the damaged but viable tourism operations that attract targeted visitors, example resorts based around Tonga's natural and cultural attributes. Secondly, to rebuild private and public tourism infrastructure with resilient practices and materials that address natural hazards and climate change. Thirdly, to resume tourism operations at a standard equal to or better than before the crisis. Fourth, to reassure target markets that Tonga is safe, ready, and offering compelling tourism experience. And fifth, to reset tourism policy and planning to reflect current conditions and direct a resilient, sustainable, and inclusive tourism future. Progressing these priorities will require the following 10 proposed interventions. Firstly, tourism private sector commitment to and investment in rebuilding, restarting their businesses with resilient and quality measures. Secondly, financial sector government development partner support with suitable financing solutions for viable tourism businesses. Thirdly, government commitment to and investment in repairing, maintaining public tourism assets and resilient tourism enabling infrastructure and services. 4, government decisions on pending reconstruction approvals requirements with support to determine if alternative solutions is required. 5, government development partners, private sector guidance for tourism businesses on how to build back better with or adapt existing operations to more resilient infrastructure and services. 6, quality control measures and corresponding support to industry to maintain high quality, high value supply. 7, exploring options for improving tourism business access to suitable insurance products and strengthening tourism businesses' understanding of insurance. 8, updating Tongan tourism development strategic framework as relevant to current conditions, ensuring a single long-term vision and strategy with complementary planning documents and tools. 9, implementing an intensive, targeted marketing and communication strategy and campaign based on promoting a compelling destination brand, offering important visitor information, and providing a competitive offer with a call to action. And lastly, introducing government policies that support any of the above. So that is just a brief of the outcome of the report on the crisis impact assessment launch, and we're quite pleased that we now have firm figures arising out of the assessment made of the cost to the tourism industry of the impacts disasters, as well as recommendations for going forward, and we trust that this will form the basis of the government's work, as well as engagement with development partners and other financial institutions to support the rebuilding of the tourism industry in Tonga. Thank you very much.
Can we get another round of applause, please? This is a very important document there. It'll inform a lot of decisions and assistance from the stakeholders, donors and development partners, and from government. Just before we move on to the rest of the program, I would just like to repeat again that this program is made possible in partnership with the Tonga Tourism Authority, Tonga Development Bank, Ministry of Tourism, and the Tonga Tourism Association. The whole spirit of this program is partnership, and if you've picked from the speeches, there is partnership and teamwork in there. So moving on, our next program is from the Tonga Tourism Authority. Because we're the marketing arm of the government, we've actually put a little video clip for you just to sum up in a review of the year.
There's an island. 2022 has brought with it many challenges. The year began like last year. Borders were closed and many businesses were struggling to stay afloat amidst a global pandemic. Reports of activity from the Hunga Tonga Hunga Hapai volcano were shared. But then on the 15th of January, the Hunga Tonga Hunga Hapai erupted, causing a devastating tsunami, leaving Tonga Tapu covered in a blanket of ash and many parts ruined, some unrecognizable by residents. This, coupled with a global pandemic, crippled the tourism industry in the Kingdom of Tonga. But we did not wait. Instead, we got busy. Tonga Tourism went out and started cleaning up properties and giving out food boxes from Nuku'alofa all the way to the Western District. We were very fortunate to join in partnership with the World Central Kitchen and Oholei Beach Resort. Together with the Tonga Tourism Authority, we dished over 3,000 meals every day over the course of 2 months to those affected. Not long after COVID-19 washed up on our shores, Tonga went into a complete lockdown, forcing all businesses to close, including the tourism businesses. We here at the Tonga Tourism Authority assisted by sharing information, allowing us to work while navigating amidst these challenges. In May, the Tonga Tourism Authority signed a memorandum of understanding with the Tonga Rugby Union and the Tonga National Netball Team as part of our marketing initiatives to promote sports tourism in Tonga. We went out and met with development partners, the likes of the Tonga Chamber of Commerce, the UN International Organization for Migration, the Market Development Fund, amongst others. We believe that behind every business is a person. We take care of them and they'll take care of us. Early in May, we invited the Pasifika Medical Association from New Zealand, who were visiting Tonga to support with well-being and concerns raised by the industry following the volcanic eruption and COVID-19. In preparations for the reopening of borders, we are grateful for trainings by Pacer Plus on COVID-19 readiness, customer service, and communications. These trainings were carried out to help build resilience and was shared across Tonga Tapu and the outer islands of Vava'o, Ha'apai, and Ewa. These ran from June and ended in September. Our team grew too. In June, we welcomed two senior marketing officers, Mr. Peter Hausia and Mr. Fotuika Vailea, to guide and support our efforts, amongst which included conducting a situational analysis across the islands. Then in August, Tonga welcomed our visiting friends and relatives when our borders opened. Our teams, together with the Ministry of Tourism, welcomed our guests at the airport with fresh kahoa kakala, a kava ceremony, while walking out to the sounds of Tongan music. Later in September, we had our team building retreat with the aim of strengthening our grit and resilience. The result of this, our staff walked out feeling more empowered. In October, Tonga fully reopened its borders and welcomed the first cruise ship, which was a sight to see for all in Nuku'alofa. It had been 2.5 years of lockdown since the visit of the last cruise ship. As part of our marketing strategies, we were able to host celebrity athletes and TV hosts, including the likes of Olympic gold medalist Awatahine Tonga Dame Valerie Adams. To showcase that Tonga has so much more to offer than just the whales, we welcome Kiwi fishing fanatic and TV host Mr. Clark Gayford. He visited Tonga to shoot the TV series Fish of the Day in Vava'o. The show is broadcasted to over 100 million households across 85 countries, including our key source markets of New Zealand and Australia. And the heavyweight champion Justice Huni promoting Tonga with promotional videos, including our social platforms, to make it known that Tonga's borders is now fully open, as well as provide information that Tonga is safe and it's our first priority. From this, we signed an agreement with Justice Huni to continue collaborations. For the first time after 2 years, the Pacific Tourism Organization held its first in-person meeting in October in the Cook Islands. Leading the delegation was the Honourable Minister of Tourism, the Honourable Fikita Moiloa Utoikamano, together with the CEO of the Ministry of Tourism, Mr. Sione Moala Mafi, Deputy Director Mrs. Magdalena Fifita, and Tonga Tourism Authority Manager of Planning, Development, Investment, Ms. Simatala Palo. Fruitful meetings were held with new initiatives, including those with the New Zealand Maori Tourism, who committed grants towards Tonga's tourism development and recovery. With the request of our Honourable Minister, the Tonga Tourism Authority gladly assisted with a bid for the South Pacific Community, or SPC's first Polynesian sub-regional office, by putting together a compelling short video of why Tonga is in the best position to host the SPC's first Polynesian sub-regional office. As a result, Tonga won the bid to host the office. Just last week, meetings were held with the Employers and Manufacturing Association from New Zealand, or the EMA. They are the biggest network of businesses in New Zealand. Their visit highlights the willingness of New Zealand's private sector to support Tonga's tourism recover and resilience through mutual partnership. Looking into the future, the Tonga Tourism Authority has some exciting initiatives ahead. To continue our endeavours to strengthen our marketing activities, we have planned a branding audit, development of a cruise marketing strategy, printing of new publications. We're looking to upskill our digital marketing staff, as well as launching of our Tonga Tourism information website. Amongst these new initiatives is looking to develop and promote business continuity plans, sustainable tourism, as well as building our staff's capacity. We thank you for your support as we continue to develop and recover Tonga's tourism. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Malo Aupito. Kingdom of Tonga.
Malo. I hope you liked this short video. As I mentioned before, with the marketing arm, so everything is marketing for us. Not just marketing our country, but marketing ourselves as well. Before moving on to the next program, I'd also like to just give you a brief introduction to our board of directors. We realise that a lot of people don't know what the Tonga Tourism Authority does. So we are the marketing arm of the government. We work side by side with the Ministry of Tourism. We have our chair lady who's here, Mishka Doifua, as well as our directors. We have representatives from all of the island groups. We've got a director from the Niuas, Mr. Aisia Ta'afi. We also have a director here from the Vava'us, Mr. Elwin Moa, as well as our director from Ha'apai, our Whaiwhekau, Mr. Whina Wata. Also, the lovely lady there, Te Maresi Maire from Ewa, our director from Ewa. Mishka Doifua is our chair lady who's here, and as well as Mr. Simana Kami, who couldn't make it today as he's actually doing business right now. Anyway, as I mentioned before, this is partnership. With a building, as you can see with our presentation, our short video, it's about building partnership with the limited resources and funds that we have. We've actually gone out to partner with our sporting stars and to partner with other organizations in New Zealand and Australia. And as I mentioned before, this is the spirit of partnership, how we got this program up and running and all the presentations today. And also there's some good news and some more partnerships that will be signed in this program. But without further delay, I would like to pass it on to the Tonga Tourism Association, and let me introduce to you their president, Mr. Saya Moehau. And this presentation, would you call it the voice of the industry? Without the industry, without the operators, there is no tourism. So it's in three parts. Their presentation is in three parts. Tourism current situation, which will be presented by Beseti Mafu, who's the Vice President, followed by Ms. Liz Sullivan and Mr. Shone Fonua. I'd like to welcome the Tonga Tourism Association to deliver their presentation. Mahalo.
Taine soa te mawea peo le Twitter, Princesi o Whina Tonga, matapu ki e mista e Takimamata, Whekita o Tuikamanu, e whatapu ki e Excellency Ken Saku, Japanese Ambassador, pe ke mista o trading Vega Maka, our representative from the Chinese office, Ambassador. Bea e whakatapu ke pure o e Pange Whaaraka, e Merine Tweet, me ke CEO e Takimamata. Awa te fōki e sea o e Poate, pea mokmotolo doa ai NGAAHI e whiawhini. I'd like to present my presentation in English, please. Sometimes if I speak in Tongan, I cry, so I better stop crying. And also, I want to thank you for your very nice and wonderful speech, Princess Level. You were just speaking things out of our mind, and we've been knocking all the time, and we're just about to stop knocking, and then you said, keep on knocking, and keep on asking. So we're going to continue again. And also, I'd like to thank the Minister for launching the result of the survey and the good recommendations. So we all look forward for a great year coming next year. And on our part, it says here that that I have to talk. I'm given only 5 minutes, so I'm going to have a very quick talk. But it says here, the voice of the industry. So, because I was one of the victims of the tsunami, and I think that's why this Saya decided to let me talk, to show you where we are now in the industry. Well, on the 15th of January, this year we experienced in Tonga one of the most terrifying episodes in our country. Eruption of the volcano, Hunga Tonga and Hunga Hapai, and devastating tsunami. Few people died, hundreds lost their homes, and all the beach resorts in Tongatapu and the surrounding islands were totally destroyed. And not to forget the pending effects of the lockdown on COVID-19 for more than 2 years now. One thing I need to mention here, the communication we need to improve between government and the industry. First, we've been trying to make appointments, especially with the higher level, and it's been hard. And up till now, we're so happy that we are standing here at the front. And not only that, but like the summit that has been proposed, and hopefully we'll be improving that. Sorry if I mentioned some negative things here, because I was told to talk about the voice of the industry. But don't worry, if we have two negatives, there's a positive. Negative times negative is positive. So maybe another one will be talking about another negative event, so we get positive there. However, the government, I need to mention this also, government theme has been mentioned all the time in public. They said that the theme of so many occasions, it says, no one should be left out or left behind. Honorable Minister, we've been left behind since the eruption of the volcano. We write several letters, we make several attempts for appointments and all that. We've been left behind. Everybody moved forward. But we are glad we had this assessment read out today, and it's good news to our ears. So, among those that were totally destroyed, a few people set up businesses just to hold on their key employees. A lot of employees, but more than 50% of the employees left for fruit picking and other things overseas. And we try our best to make sure that our key employees do not go. If we recovered, we need them. One of the big problems now is people are going away, and we don't have the right people to continue our business. To me, I think we should thank and salute the government for rebuilding the new houses for all the people whose houses were destroyed by the tsunami. We can imagine the feeling and the joy that these families have when they walk into their new home. However, Honorable Minister, we lost everything we had in the tsunami. All our family business gone. The only good thing is that we're still alive and well. We still have our dreams, our hope, and our skills and experience, and our big heart, and our love for Tonga. That's what we still have. We can rebuild our tourism businesses again. We still have our network with our community. A lot of businesses like whale watching, restaurants, rental cars, handicrafts, tours, they depend very much on the guests brought by the resorts. When people want to have their holiday in Tonga, they think of warm climate, sun bath on the beach, stay in the bungalows, swim in the fresh, clean waters, have Polynesian atmosphere. And most come to Tonga just to do nothing, no disturbance. They want to have a break. These are all the features of the beach resort. And if we don't have these features, and we don't have the beach resorts, then we don't have the people to come to Tonga. Be reminded now, 60% of the accommodation are no longer exist. Tourism in our neighboring countries are blessed. Fiji, Rarotonga, Samoa, Vanuatu, all are booming, the industry. Resorts are all booked throughout the year. Tonga is missing from the group. Tourists have long overdue vacations and they need to come. There's war in Europe, but they need to come to the Pacific. We would have been ready if we start rebuilding earlier in the year. Honorable Minister, on behalf of all the operators of tourism, totally destroyed and partly destroyed by the tsunami, and all the operators, we wish to ask the government for a grant and other incentives to help us rebuild our tourism and our economy. We wish to start now. Tonga should not be left behind. We're going to assure you that if we start right now, we should be ready before high season next year. And we can assure you we will be on a same platform with other neighboring islands. We wish all the best to the government and the ministry. And we're also glad that we have Emmeline now with the Tonga Bank. We have high hope for you, Emmeline, and we know we're going to look at this very seriously. Ako talamono at feri ke minister, mo kauma CEO pe mo kaunga tourism pe ke poate pe mo todo pe involve tourism. Pe ma ha tau related tau hoko ke tau kau pe and I wish each and everyone here in the room a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome the second speaker from the industry, Mr. Shanifonua.
Teu hufanga I he ngai whatapu, kai atage motuani ke whaia dumua ha whaha ai leo o e tourism industry in Tonga. ko e aduen e whamalo ki he princesi o mea mai au. Whalangilangi i he whataha ko i e whawhini, pehe ki minister, o minister, pehe ki he CEO, pehe mo e authority. Ko e rea ko e te wai teu i pēa ki i artikolo ke wai ai talanoa ki ai. Ka te whamamawha pē a e ko talanoa ki e ngahi palparema koe o kumau whiangangai moia i he industries. So for the foreign speakers, I want to say that my speech will focus and concentrate on what the problems that we are facing and trying to see what the solution we can hopefully design and put in place to solve the problems that tourism is facing. I'll start off with the structure. Being a lawyer, I was looking at the legal authority under which the authority and the ministry are operating, because there is a problem that us industry are facing. At the moment, we are confusing. We do not know which legal authority that will guide us and help with us and work with us to promote tourism in Tonga. We have the authority which is created by the Tonga Tourism Authority Act, which created the board of directors and also, most importantly, set out the objectives and guiding principles under which the tourism industry in Tonga is to operate. And the main objectives is that to develop tourism in Tonga and promote. So that is the guidelines that we are looking at and hoping that we are working with the government to achieve that. On the other hand, we have the ministry, which is operating under the CEO, and the CEO is power and authority is created by the Public Service Act, and which directed that a ministry, there must be a CEO. So those two institutions is confusing to us in the industry, and we are asking here the minister to look into that and address it so that we have clear directions. And working with the Tonga Tourism Authority Act, it seems that everything is there, and it also says that the minister is working within that legal framework. So that's one problem that we are requesting the minister to look into. The other problem that we are facing is us, Tonga. We have to look at ourselves and ask hard questions. How can we compete with our competitors? Fiji, Samoa, Cook Islands, Indonesia. How? So that's the questions and that's the problems. When a tourist is surfing the net and looking for a place to go to, look to Indonesia, look to Samoa, look to Fiji, look at Tonga, what we have to offer to persuade that person to come to Tonga. So that is the issue, and that's the problem that we think that we ought to address. Second is we look at ourselves and say, are we doing our homework? We ask ourselves, is Tonga clean when the tourists come to Tonga? And compare that to Fiji and compare Tonga to Samoa. And that is another problems that we want to work together in partnership to promote and achieve the better tourism for Tonga. Other problems that we are facing is also the product development. I have a place, and the tourists, when they come there for 7 days, 5 days, after the first day and the second days, they say to me, what else I can do in Tonga? They said, oh, it's a lot of things. Oh, you can go around the island. It's only take me 1 day. That's covered. So we have something to work on, product development. We do not have enough products to offer our tourists coming to Tonga. So that is another problem that we are facing, and we have to work in partnership to promote Tonga. Our assets, what are our assets we offer overseas? It's our culture. We have a unique culture. Tatauma Whakawa is unique for Tonga, special for Tonga. The tourist definitely wants to promote that. Another assets we have is our oceans, the fish, the beautiful coral reef. So that is the things that the voice of the industry we want to put before you. And I'll close my speech with this. This is the industry that the benefit will trickle down to the grassroots. A taxi driver will earn his livelihood from it. A farmer can earn his livelihood from it, selling his farming to the restaurants. The fisherman will sell his fish to the restaurants. If we have enough tourists coming to Tonga, they will definitely have a good standard of living. Thank you very much.
I'd like to welcome the President of the Tonga Tourism Association, Mr. Saya Moihau.
Ki mua ke u hoko atu kore mua ke ki whenga maari ko ni ata whakamaapa malungi whaitona taina Princess Pilolevu. Whatula watu ki he Minister FAKAMA'OPO'OPO mo Fulawe Beva ka mai CEO mo ka NGAUE o te whaba make he Minister Trade ku mea he mo tau tolu he hotan pa ilongai ene mahuinga ia i FAKAMA'OPO'OPO toko Minister fogeni na Minister FAKAMA'OPO'OPO be moia ki mu atu whamalo ona bo lam latu o mea mai aho ni. Whababa hen ke ambastoa siapa ni ka mai whafofonga me he ambastoa siaina. Oku ate whababa make he he pule o Tonga Development Bank. Ku tuko na taimi, kai heni, ko tokoni ka kitau tolu. Whababa foki ki sea e puate FAKAMA'OPO'OPO ka mai kau tare kita pule pa mai kau NGAUE o te whaba make ka ki mo tolu ko toa pe mulava mai he hotan ko ngā koe ki polo kalama mahu inga ko eni pea o te kore whamore more ko e toa taha mau kau lea koe ki ne lava mai na tok text mai pe Elizabeth Cowley Sullivan Nek text mai pe koe ki whatongia tali ni kau guest tahini Princess whamore more koe no molo ia a industry o ku teu e polo kalama ki he kau tala mai he NGAUE ke lere ki he pa koe whatongia i he ahakotoa koe ahoni foki e fufuoroa whau mai e mautari ki ai pena kai ke whaha toka ngai ape koe ahai taha pe koe aheua, pe koe hauata. Ka koe mea mahu i ngā pe ke tau i heni, ke tau tala noa, o whekawaki, me tau takimamata. Hangai pe ko mea tahine pa ki whamore pe, nau ki tohi, ho ngahi mea, ngahi quote, he ko maari e i ai, hangai pe ko lawe a pe se di, mau kamo pe mei mui. Hangai pe ko ho mea tahine, today is about getting on the same page and working together. We cannot do that if we don't talk. So thank you, Tonga Development Bank, the Tonga Tourism Authority, and the Ministry of Tourism for coordinating this 2-hour, maybe end up 3-hour wrap-up session. Koe taumua whake mau ki presentation ni nai o mai he GMA, General Manager, Voice of the Industry. Pe koe leo o e takimamata, mu whulau e wewa. Aki na tolu nau ngā wei, me ta whake taha e takimamata. Ka ko ki tū whoki koe wrap up pe. Wrap up pe mo mui pe. A mea pe nai lawe kia yung tangata koe mua. In English, I don't want to bore you yet. The theme of our presentation today is Voice of the Industry. And I'm not too sure what was expected, however. We shared with you, in my recollection, sitting there, 3 key issues we have struggled with: pre-pandemic natural disasters, and even more so, post-pandemic and natural disasters. And hopefully, that will help inform our solutions going forward. Hangai pe ko mea na lawe ka PCD, Partnership in Assistance, for Assistance. O mo ni abito pe tahine ek minister. I struggle a industry ia. Ko ui ko ngai whainga tamaki ko ni tau si mea kiai. Ka whakamaro lahi at ke wheitu una he report lelei. Ke mea mai moia. O mau lawe iai, ai lahi ai mau. Nea ko ki PCD pe, ko ki toko fit ngoful tupu pe na reply. Kako me ke toko ngoful tupu pe ia, fit ngoful tupu pe ia. O ku kei mo ui. Ofi pe kiai. Understanding the impact of various shocks that we came to know and experience informs us how government best assists the tourism industry through various assistance programs, not a handout. More than 60% loss in the accommodation sector. And this is a very key component of the tourism industry. At the lave foka PSET of communication. Kako Partnership for Assistance, fie mau ay NGAUE whakataha. Ministry of Tourism, Tonga Tourism Authority, pia moe Tonga Tourism Association. Kako whawhetai, ku loto lele e pule, Tonga Development Bank, ke kau mai he partnership i, kako partnership lahi taha ia. Ako whamore pe ko whatonga e tuk mea heni pa moe se ai, poate o e pange whalalaka, poate whawabalahi, ia te koe pen māloho o mahu inga ia, i he prokalama ai takimamata ka ke mea mai. Ai mahu inga, ai partnership, uhange te taungari monu i ai he whiawhini. O kumona bito pe lawe a PSET, o ikai ke lerei a communication, a waha o industry, mo tourism authority, pa mo Ministry of Tourism. Ka koe mea pe kulawa whakalerei. Imagine, kapau na esai a communication. Imagine a result, te tawa o kehe ahoni, ta mo kahau. We can achieve so much more together, not individually. But may I please remind us all and remind ourselves today that the competition is out there. Samoa, Cook Islands, Fiji. Not here. Not here. So if I talk about structure, ang ako tau whao ngā tahine, Princess, Egg Minister. He mentioned we're still confused who does what. Min mau lawa peo o lawe tu e lao. Tal mai he legislation ia ko tamago ne faye. Ka keheia e taim go faye fakatala noa. We hope the government will make the political will clear, and if so, that will mean a more efficient use of our public funds. Ko lawe ibe lau miliona e tau patset e takumamata e tau kotoa. Millions after millions. But what do we got to show for? Osi ko hai ola. Ko FAKAMA'OPO'OPO ia e tau NGAUE. Kau te ki poro pe mo ai mea e tahi pataloni. For reminding us the most important factor about the statistics. And I may quote, behind every statistic is a person. Behind every dollar is a person. Behind every decision is a person. Behind every business is a person. We have just shared the struggles, and as already noted, the solution is here. The solution for assistance is going to be launched today. And I take the opportunity to thank the CEO of Tonga Development Bank, Ms. Emeline Tuita, and of course the chairperson of the board of the Tonga Development Bank. Whamalo atu ki he sea o e Tonga Tourism Authority pa moe pule. Ka pehe foki he minister, my Ministry of Tourism, my CEO, for coming up with a fund to allow tourism development to be achieved. This is an enormous achievement and something that was always there, but needed the coming together of the right minds, with the right hearts, to put it together and hopefully make it work. On the issue of communication, I also like to borrow that Her Royal Highness mentioned it better. We will keep asking, we will keep knocking, and we won't go away, as we know we must work together if we have any aspiration to restore the tourism industry back better. On the last issue, que was menciones, the tourism structure. We humbly ask the Honourable Minister, you have a prime opportunity to resolve what has been a challenge for both government and the industry for over 10 years. And we wish we can have a continued discussion as to how we can ensure the most efficient and effective tourism industry is restored and rebuilt to better than the pre-pandemic standards. Hange pegoya na me agiai ai tahi ni princesi, pana te lave pegiaya sione fonua. There are many more activities to be developed all year round. And for that to occur, we need a strong and lasting partnership between the government and the industry. Ko ki NGAUE be o fai ngofua be. Ko tau NGAUE whakata. Tau whetakini whakata. Ko fu taimi ko ni whai ngata, these times of difficulties, turbulences, natural disasters. Most of the time we swim. But when we swim during these difficult times, we need to hold our hands and swim together. Otherwise, we will sink individually. Malo abito.
Mao, thank you to the Tonga Tourism Association President and representatives. We've now come to part 5 of our program, Partnership. As we've heard repeatedly in this program, it's about partnership. There's an ugly side and there's a good side, and it's a good thing that we're ending 2022 with discussion to partnership as we formulate our New Year's resolutions, both personally and professionally for next year. Without further delay, I would like to, there's actually 2 partnerships here. The first one is a partnership with the Pasifika TV and radio. Lave Iloa Ola is actually here with the Pasifika TV and radio. So we've had discussion in the last few days, and there's an MOU that will be signed in the next couple of minutes regarding partnership towards marketing in Australia. As I mentioned before, if we are creative in the ways we actually seek assistance, a lot of it can be done without any money, like these partnerships that we're actually doing with our own people overseas. So I'd like to welcome Lava Iloa Ola, if you could just come forward, and also the chairman of our board who will be signing the MOU with the Tonga Tourism Association.
Partnership. Pasifika television mo radio may Brisbane, Australia. Lama iloala. Kinapingaw aki dapat ko marketing mo kaudah ko ni mo ngawe ang takmamata atonga. Memorandum of Understanding because MOU ay nagpamolo ay wahako kaya ay patungian.
Koe whingawe aki koe ni hoi me kāinga, koe whingawe aki mo tio koe ni Australia, ke toko ni koe market i atu ho tau whonua ki Australia. Mau mea ipe koe tau market la lahi taha i he niko Australia pe mo New Zealand. O te pasasi mai hoi me kāinga. Another round of applause, a bit louder this time. In the last partnership, financing access solution for tourism sector for 2022-2027, which the Tonga Tourism Association has been waiting for. I would like to welcome CEO, Ms. Emelina Tuita, Chief Executive Officer of the Tonga Development Bank. Mahalo.
Tapu pe moe a whio ai tol taha i o tua he tau lotolotonga. Pea kore pe mua keu hufanga he ngahi tala whakatapu kakato ko whakahoko atu me muani kai ata moau ta ahine Princess Pule ka koe pataloni oku ke tataki ai maa i moa o langa o sektor takmamata i tongani. Ki mua pa whakahoko ate ka weinga na ai ke whakahoko aki ki MOU ko eni ko lawe ki ai MCE he whiawhi ko eni ko kore pe mua. Ke upuke ai whainga maari ko eni ke whakawheilo aki atu ai fie kau ngā kau koe lango waka oe whakalakalaka ai tonga. Koe pange langa whakalakalaka tonga na whotu uia e mā i mua a tamatu i ko unga whonua king tu pou wha ko uhinga koe tau mua ke whai ai lango waka oe whakalakalaka ai tongani. Koe pange ai puleanga tonga. Pea i ngai aho ki muini, ko hoko e pange, koe pange ai whonua. Nai kamata pange he tahiwa fitfitu, na e pesete te au, koe pange ai puleanga whafofonga ia I he Ministry of Finance. I he ahoni koe pange o kia hono shareholders la lahi e tolu. Koe puleanga tonga pese te ono noa. Koe Retirement Fund Board. Koe pese te uanoa. Pea mo National Retirement Fund Board pese te uanoa. O whakafofonga I fok he Retirement Fund Board ai pensoni ai kakai NGAUE I he NGAUE whakapuleanga Civil Service. Pea whakafofonga I lewa e he National Retirement Fund Board ai kau NGAUE oku itua me he puleanga. Koe aho koe ni ko wiheni I he whekau. Koe whekau ko ia, koe whekau ia ai puleanga tonga. Whakafong mai I he poate ai puleanga. Ke kau mai e pangelanga whakalalaka ai whonua ki hono langa hake ai sektoa mahu inga ki tongani koe sektoa o FAKAMA'OPO'OPO. O kohonga tahine ai whekau aki ai ngahi kupu ko toa pe I he whiawhini. Ke winga ke lava o whaka whiamari e ke ngahi loto tālaa pea whakaau e amanaki. Na e whahoko mai e uraki draft agenda ta hine princess. Na a tuu ai pange whakalaka I loto. I he asenita. Pea ukore ange pe ki he kau whaupolo kalama. Whewheke unaki ai pange whakalaka ki he konga ki mui. Koe uhi. Ke ulawa ke whanongo. Ki he ngahilea ki mua. He okumahu inga ia. Ke whakapapau I. Pe ok tonu ko ai foi solution ko ni. Ok o mai ki he te pile. O whilafo aki I he ahoni. Pe ko whamalo ko hinga koe anga lelei. O unaki mai au ki he konga ki mui. Ko hok whatongia I he ahoni ke whakafofonga I atu. Ai NGAUE ko lava ke whakahoko, ke hinga ke whakalelei ai communications. Ko uhi ke whalawa o whakalelei mohoko ai whengawe aki koe ni ko hasolova anga o ngāhi pole o whehanghangai pe mo industry. Ngai wike koni ko maliwa tu loto lelei ai poate pa ko whiawhia I he ni tonu ai sea o poate o pangelanga whakalakalaka. Ke winga ke whakapapau I pe ki a te kumotolu. Hono kotoa I he sektoa ai poupou o kwhai. Koe ui koe poupou ke ngai whatongia o puleanga. Pa ko kore pe ke whakahoko atu ai honga ia ki he Minister o Foreign Affairs. Ko ui kono tuunga koe sea I he ngahi committee. Regional Development Committees a tongani. Kau kia e Eua Regional Development Committee. Hapai Regional Development Committee. Wawau Regional Development Committee. Pea mo Niua Regional Development Committees. O mahu inga hono whakakawa te pange. Ko hinga lawa pange. O no whotonu whanongo ke ngai whau. Ai puleanga I ngahi integrated plans. Pea kau ai FAKAMA'OPO'OPO. Kai umaa ai ngahi focal areas ai pange, agriculture, pea moe, fisheries. I hono tālangai, mo whau e ngahi polokalama. Pea koe konga pe eni o langa whonua o ku whakahoko I he hiri ai ngahi mea, ko pehe e he pange, mahino ke he pange, ko tourism sector. The tourism industry is flat on its face. That is the reality of where we are today. Koe aho koe ni koe aho ku whakahistoria tahine prinsesi. Koe uhi koe aho eni ko whakatahataha mai ai ngahi kupu whekau aki o Pule'anga, Tonga Tourism Authority, o nau toka ngai ahono whakamāketi o Takamamata. Pea moi Ministry of Tourism, o nau o mai ngahi policies ke tataki ake NGAUE. Pea moi Pangkelanga whakalakalaka, o nau malawa ke nau hanga whakahoko, hangahi polokalama whakapaanga, ki he private sector, i he malu o e nau whingawe aki ko ia. Pau whawhetai, o kui ai pe ai palani, fungani ai o tua maatonga. O kui ai mea o ku whakafo ofa ia ai ranga wakai mai ai pange ki he anga o characteristic o tourism market a Tongani. Ko tourism market a Tongani, ko hono whaunga ona mei he kakai tonga o nau nofo i muri. O tala he ngai statistika ko toa pe ko pe sete ono nima o ki nau tolu o nau wholau wha ewa mai ki Tongani ko e kakai tonga. Pea o whainga fua lewa hano tāketi ai ngahi NGAUE. Ma wahe me he ngai tokoni e whai he pange whalalaka ke sektoa e whai hono tokonia ke te ofi ange mai aho tau ka inga i Tonga. Ki uhinga ke nau lava ke whai ai nau tolu ke tuolahi ange e nau o mai koe ni ki Tongani. Kau honga ta hine prinsesi ai hoa koe ni he whafoki ai mana tu ki he taimi na e whenga i hake ai aho no langa o e Takamamata i Tongani. Na ke mai moa tonu ai la vei aho koe ni o ki hene whanau a ki nau tolu na nau tu mo unga i hono langa hake ai Takamamata. Koe sektoa Takamamata ia e lava ia langa hake. E lava ia langa hake i he whengawe aki. E lava ia langa hake aki ai paanga. O excess ki ai e pange. E lava ia he uhinga maalie ai sektoa koe ni ki e langa o ekonomika. Koe aho koe ni tahine prinsesi. O whakamamafa ai pange ke fua hake aki nau tolu koe ne wesia i he ngahi whakatamaki ne hoko he mahuinga he koe kau koe pillars in the industry. Pea mahuinga ke prioritized ki nau tolu ke uinga ke fua whaiki ai ngahi tokoni. Ne whaipe ai wakai ki he ngahi ola o e whemea aki o e summit i he tau ko maliu atu. Na ia pe Pasifika whakapaanga na e asi ai. Pea ko whaampe ke whakahoko atu. Whafo ofa au pito ngai whika ko ia. Pea e lava ia. He lava pange o allocate ha ngai whika ke whaiha tokoni. Ko e tokoni ko mahino ke pange. Ko uluaki ke refinance. He kuiai umo ua lolotonga. Ko ua ki ai, ko rebuild. He mahalo koe ke te ai ha mea ia. Pea tolu ki ai, kono tokoni, ke lava ke whakalele lelei ai businessi, pea e tokoni lahi mai lewa hono whakamāketi, he Tonga Tourism Authority, pea whahoko NGAUE koe ni, whengawe aki pea mo Ministry of Tourism. Your Royal Highness, Your Excellencies, I would just like to touch upon very briefly about the Memorandum of Understanding that we will be signing today with our partners, the Tonga Tourism Authority and the Ministry of Tourism, but in particular, very importantly, the Tonga Tourism Association. And so the Tonga Development Bank, in its capacity as a financial institution and as an instrument of development and delivery partner for financial solutions for the government of the Kingdom of Tonga, and the Ministry of Tourism, the Tonga Tourism Authority, and the Tonga Tourism Association, collectively representing the Tonga tourism sector, recognizes the importance of partnerships for meeting the goal for the tourism sector to evolve to be the primary economic driver of the kingdom. Aimed by this desire to rebuild tourism and restore the lifeline it offers to the people of Tonga, and to endure equitable community participation, make the sector more resilient, and meet climate and environmental objectives and financing access solution for the tourism sector for 2022 to 2027, centered on people and sustainability. Bearing in mind that tourism was the worst hit sector during the COVID-19 lockdown from March 2020, exacerbated by the January 2022 Hungatonga Hungaha'apai volcano eruption and tsunami, and the advent of COVID-19 to the shores of the kingdom in February 2022, and the state of the sector at the opening of the borders in August 2022, and that the core challenge is a financing access solution for the tourism sector for 2022 to 2027, the participants, confirming their interest in strengthening joint cooperation and creating reciprocal advantages for the stakeholders of the tourism sector in particular, developing and strengthening cooperation and financing access solution for the tourism sector for 2022 to 2027 throughout the Kingdom of Tonga. The participants have reached the following understanding. The objective of the Memorandum of Understanding, Your Royal Highness, is the development and strengthening of the cooperation between the participants in the tourism sector to facilitate the coordination between the national mandate for the development of the tourism sector, the policies that guide its development, the marketing of the industry, and the operations thereof by the private sector, and the delivery of financial solutions to the industry in a timely manner across the 5 key subsectors of the industry, which include transportation, accommodation, food and beverage, activities and events, and tourism products. In order to achieve the objective that we refer to in this MOU, it is recognized that the tourism sector as a whole has been significantly debilitated by the force majeure events that have been ongoing since 2022, and therefore the core activity in coordinating the financing required by the industry in order to facilitate the implementation of specific cooperation programs, which are a result of extensive consultation amongst the participants, so as to optimize the impact of tourism development on the nation through the private sector operators in particular. The Tonga Development Bank is developing with its partners a sector-specific financing strategy to support the industry out of its current demise to a resilient rebuilding and expansion, so that by 2027, which is the 50th anniversary of the Tonga Development Bank, the tourism industry capacity is developed to receive up to 500,000 air arrivals into the kingdom. The setting of this target allocates some 210,000 to Tongatapu, 20,000 to Eua, 40,000 to Ha'apai, 125,000 to Vava'u, 10,000 to Niuafo'ou, and 10,000 to Niuatoptapu, and 85,000 other to be allocated. This is important setting of targets so that we can establish the capacity that the tourism industry is required to build up to. This will be phased out over a period of the next 5 years, but as I said, it will commence with the rebuilding of the existing tourism operations as the lead into a robust, resilient, and transformative economic asset for the kingdom. The focus is on the small and medium operators in the tourism industry so that it has significant impact on the populace as a whole. At the moment, in order to address the current situation, we have allocated a minimum of $10 million to be allocated to the businesses. Government has already, in its own program, allocated $5 million to the tourism sector. And this is not the end. This is just the beginning. Your Royal Highness, ho ngā ia whine motua koe ni whai ngā maari o e whiawhini, pa ko whakaosi a ki pē ai talamonu ki he wheituuna, kai umaaho o mai mua, pēa mo ho ngā ia mo oni, koe ngā koe pou o kwhai mai mi whale lahi. Koe whoi mea e ua, ko tui o ku malawa ke to'o me he whakataha mahu inga o e whiawhi ko e ni. Koe loto o e tonga ke lava. Ka ko pau peke iai ai leadership. Pea o whamalo atu. Whafofonga i atu. Ai Tonga Tourism Authority, mo i Tonga Development Bank, Ministry of Tourism, ka umaa, ai Tonga Tourism Association, ko uhi ko whainga maari e ko ni ukmau, pea mau mā tātonu, tapu mo wheitu una, ai taki lelei, o ko ke whakahoko, ke tek mau tolu, o whatupu ia ke mau loto lahi ai, o ne hanga whakaivia ki mau tolu, ke o te mau foi, e he NGAUE, ka mau NGAUE, ai whainga maali e ko toa pe, ko hanga he e eiki o whaki mai kia tek mau tolu, ke mau i he wheitu uko e ni, i he taimi pehe ni, te lia ai langa whonua o whakahoko. Mau kore ke whalanglangi i pe, whawhoki langlangi mo e gloria ke eiki, whawhetai he mau whainga maali e whawhetai e mau e koloa i he ahoko e ni, wako kole lewa ke whahoko mua ai. Whamooni koe ni, ko inga koe lawe koe ni koe ke communication ni, a ngā peke tau, ai lai pepa be. Ngā ia honi. Pa ko tui pe, Williami koe, pe ko haika whafofonga ke whakahoko ai. Mea koe ni koe hei hao honi. Koe tu au whātu.
Malo pa mo te paspasi mai fuke de olah yang e na tau kamata pe he tala ko tai ni mien ko fai to on yo ko atu ko si ko mahina ni Christmas ni ka nga business e ko ia pau ni fa ko ia pau ki he fem hai no aki afenga aki fakataha ai to ka utaha ko ni fa ko ni ko ta ko ke raki me mai mua ai fa fonga me he pot nga tak mata pe la ma CEO ke famon ko le apa wen di famon he kau CEO ka da kau CEO ko sino NGAUE ko ni ai ko na tol de na fra hoko ngai NGAUE ko ni pe ko mai ka le apa we fa pe ko la teni ki he o se CEO po ko la tin ke palestini ko secretary señario ko ke lava mai ko la tin palestini Tonga Tourism Association ke hoko mai e lava CEO. E lava ke mau mea mai pe ki mua ka uia tu pe ka mau mea mai ki mua ke saine tau area pau ko raten ke palestini mo paspasi mea palestini so saya mo hau bisa saya mo hau. Pe pe fo ki sea ai poate FAKATAKIMAMATA, ia Mishka tu ifua. Pea tok whakao sa tuia, tau CEO e tau pangke whakalakalaka, Emerine Tuita. Ui, sa whiwha. So after you've all signed, then you'll be taking one copy each. Pani Princess, hoi ko kai nga mo mea pe ko me o se tau programa ni ko nga uraki pen yo ko ka tai pe tau reception ni o se programa ko ni o te ha mo ki half me te tau no ke mo ma ina vai mo ka to ko te tau programa no wa me re tau programa u ka ke tau te o fare tau i heni. While they're finishing the signing ceremony, I forgot to inform you that Wi-Fi is actually free here. So if you need the Wi-Fi password, just feel free to ask one of the lovely staff there in red for the password. While they're finishing signing, I'm actually going to add on the verse after Matthew 7, chapter 7, Your Royal Highness. It actually, I'll just read it out to you. Which of you, if your son asks for bread, will give them stone, or he asks for a fish, will give him a snake? I mean, this evening we've actually seen this important MOU signed. So this is not a snake nor a stone. This is actually early Christmas present. Can we get a group photo of all 4 representatives? A picture speaks 1,000 words. So. We have now come to the final part of our first program, the closing speech, and I would like to welcome the Chair Lady of the Tonga Tourism Authority Board, Ms. Mishka Toifua, to deliver the closing speech. Mau.
Tulawa tahine Princess Pule pa kole ke hufanga I he ngahi whakatapu a ki nau tolu ne nau tataki mai e tau polkalama mahu inga mo whakakoloa oi ahoni pa kole ai pe po aki atu ma whawhainga maarie ke hoko at I he lea whakapitania ko uhi ko ki nau tolu a mei muri nau mahu inga ia I he mai moa ai wheitu una a hono langa hake ai sektoa takamamata o Tonga. May I begin by giving the highest respect and acknowledgement to the Princess Royal, Her Royal Highness Princess Charlotte Mafile'opilo Tuita, the guest of honour for the tourism wrap-up and launch program today, also the patron of the Tonga Tourist Association of Tonga, to the Honourable Minister for Tourism and Honourable Minister for Trade, Member of Parliament for the NGAUE, esteemed Ambassador of Japan to Tonga, and our First Secretary of the Chinese Embassy here in Tonga, other members of the diplomatic corps who are here with us today, as well as donors and development partners who will be watching this program with interest later on. To the Chairman of Tonga Development Bank and to the CEO of Tonga Development Bank, the CEO of Tonga Tourism, Ministry of Tourism, other CEOs here from the Government of Tonga, to the President and executive members of the Tonga Tourist Association, friends of tourism, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is both my honour and pleasure to deliver the closing remarks to what has been a most successful tourism wrap-up and launch program today. I pray I do the task justice because I cannot contain my excitement. The year 2022 has been a most challenging year for us all, as all of our speakers have noted earlier. The Tourism Summit last year, the inaugural Tourism Summit, brought together leaders from key stakeholders of the tourist sector of Tonga to commence conversations about challenges, opportunities, and more importantly, how we can work together on solutions going forward. Last year, we only had COVID to deal with, but this year we have the Hunga Tonga, Hunga Ha'apai. Who knows what's in store for 2023? One thing's for sure, and displayed by today's program, we need partnerships. We need each other to rebuild and to build a lasting and sustainable tourism industry. Tonga Tourism Authority cannot do it on its own, neither the Ministry of Tourism. There is no tourism without operators, and there is no financing without the banks. We need to work together. And today, we have taken that very first step in faith. Today, the technical assistance by way of the Tonga Tourism Crisis Impact Assessment Report is a partnership of the Pacific Islands Private Sector Development Initiative, Asian Development Bank, Australian Aid, and the New Zealand Foreign Affairs and Trade Aid Program. We acknowledge with deep gratitude the Minister's leadership in this important work, for we know that government makes decisions based on evidence, and this work has set the foundation for ongoing assistance
in the coming years. And we acknowledge the work that has been completed. The financial assistance of Memorandum of Understanding for the Tourism Development Fund signed today is a partnership of the Tonga Development Bank, Tonga Tourism Authority, Tonga Tourism Association, and the Ministry of Tourism. It is a joy to work with other partners of like thinking, but in particularly a bank, along an institution that is ruled by policy and procedure. And today we see Tonga's own bank stepping up to the challenge to respond to a critical crisis of the tourism sector. And we applaud the chairman present here today and also the CEO for your work and your effort to show that Tonga can come up with solutions for developing the tourism sector. For our donor partners, you have an alternative platform to provide your assistance. We hope that you will consider this tourism fund as a platform for your continued assistance to Tonga, where it can go direct to the intended recipient, which is the private sector. We have also seen here this afternoon a partnership between the Tonga Tourism Authority and the Pasifika TV and radio from Australia. We have strong and high expectations for this partnership, as we know that other arrangements or partnerships with the New Zealand Maori Tourism Employers and Manufacturing Association, and not to mention our very own Tongan sports stars. So to be able to promote those partnerships and common aims through media is a much welcome partnership that is also recognised today. To wrap up the year in review, especially the first Tourism Summit, a total of 15 recommendations came out of the Tourism Leaders Summit last year, and I would like to say that over 50%, Your Royal Highness and guests, have been addressed, and the rest on its way. Whilst we will go into details at a dialogue early next year, it is good for this to be highlighted here as we wrap up the year. The Tourism Fund and the report launched today ticks off 2 more of those recommendations. I thank the industry for your resilience and your patience and continuing to receive the staff from the government asking you many questions and research surveys. There is a reason behind it. As you are all aware, the report launched today helps government to define and determine how it will assist. Today is about you, and we thank you for listening to your patron and not giving up. Just when you thought it was time to stop knocking, thank you for continuing to knock. You have seen today what can happen when partners of like minds, of like hearts, come together to solve a problem that faces a key sector in the kingdom. I would also like to acknowledge, with the highest respect, the presence of the guest of honour, our honourable ministers, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Tonga's donor partners, other civil servants that are here today, for your attendance. We know it's a busy time, but your presence signals the importance that you afford to the recovery and development of Tonga's tourism sector. In closing, I would like to finish with the word creative. This is not a private sector word, it is not a public service word, it's a biblical word. We were created from community for community service. As much as we are creative with our businesses, we also need to be creative with our assistance. Not all assistance is financial. Not all your Christmas presents need money. It can be something as little as your time, and that we have seen demonstrated in force today. Spending a little bit of time to converse and discuss between partners has resulted in the significant achievements today. I ask that we ponder on that as you reflect on 2022 and plan for the year ahead. I thank you all again for your valuable contribution today, especially the guest of honour, and setting the scene for the private sector, the Minister's launch of the report that will define government engagement and assistance with the private sector, and the partnerships, the important partnerships that were signed today. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and an even better New Year. Ofa tu, God bless.
Thank you. As I mentioned before, this is not the end of the program, so we've got our reception straight after this. So to wrap up our first part, I'd like to ask the director from Ha'apai, Whina Wata, if he could also do the closing prayer for the first program, as we've one of our whaiwhekau's is actually hasn't made it today, so we've got many whaiwhekau's here.
Whaftai ke iki, e ne tuk ke tau ikona, ngā whawhatongia, ma tuak mahu inga, ko tau whea, i e whea whakalokwen. Ke tau whahos, pēa koe klesa i ko sisu klais, o whai atua koe tamai, belau maari maanion, ke e tahine prinsesi ia, o ki mau tolo hono ko tope o na hiri, ka ke whai o tangata. Amen.
Katoia ai konga roake o e programa pai koe report pia pe foki ki ngau e koe o e taunika ma fokono o mai koe report ngai fotamaki mai hano e sia koe takamamata konga hono wa o pai e fomoni koe e whimaino aki o na ma tukwa koe e fomoni koe e whima kata Pasifika TV ma le toko me aseria pia pe foki ki ono whapaanga koe ni ai sektoa takamamata mo pangelang whalaraka koe atonga. Patang leo le te boromani. Tau ngau koe i whakaotamaki atu me pange pule koe atonga i na rock conference. Alpate kisina potare mute fua risate tana tohi kwa se aslovaka momea.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's right.
And that's university students, Tonans and non-Tonans, spring break, not just the Tonan families. I'm talking too much. You all think about it and more. Students will bring their friends.